Sorry. You did this. Okay, we'll do it together. So, you look at yourself in a mirror every day without thinking twice. But mirrors are actually one of the strangest, most mind-bending objects in existence. They've driven people insane, revealed impossible physics, and hidden secrets that scientists still can't fully explain. From quantum mechanics to psychological horror, to the reason you look different in photos than in mirrors, everything you think you know about reflections is about to shatter. We're Mike with List 25, and these are 25 facts about mirrors that will break your brain. See you later. I'm going to do this alone. Just, get out here. 25. You've never actually seen your real face. Every time you look in a mirror, you're seeing a flipped version of your face. Left and right are reversed. That's the version your brain has grown attached to, the one you've practiced smiles with, adjusted your hair in front of, oh man, and quietly accepted as normal. So when you see a photo, it can feel strange. Not because you suddenly look bad, but because you're seeing the unflipped version, the one everyone else has always seen. Tiny asymmetries stand out simply because they're unfamiliar. You're not discovering a different face, you're just seeing yourself from the outside for once. Although to everyone else, that version has always looked completely natural. 24. Mirrors don't actually reverse left and right. Here's another mind bender. Mirrors don't actually swap left and right. They swap front and back. This happens because a mirror reflects light straight back at the same path it came from. So if you're standing about 1 meter in front of it, your reflection appears about 3 feet behind it. That's the only flip happening. Depth. The left-right confusion comes from how we interpret the image. We instinctively imagine the reflection as another person facing us, and when we mentally rotate that person around, the left and the right switch. But the truth is, the mirror never rotated anything. The illusion simply lives in your brain, not in the glass. 23. Ancient mirrors were made of polished volcanic glass. Did you know the first mirrors appeared around 8,000 years ago? Yeah, long before we even had glass or writing. They were polished obsidian, a naturally occurring volcanic glass that's shiny enough to catch your reflection. Ancient Egyptians and Mesopotamians used these mirrors, carefully crafting them to see themselves in a way that had never been possible before. Some scientists think that glimpsing our own reflection in a mirror may have been a key moment in development of human self-awareness, giving early humans the chance to recognize themselves as distinct individuals. In a way, those ancient shards of volcanic glass became the first windows into the concept of me. Michael Estrin, just the concept of Michael Estrin started 8,000 years ago. Who knew? 22. Staring at your reflection too long causes hallucinations. Stare at your own face in a dimly lit room for about 10 minutes, and something strange can happen. A psychological phenomenon called the strange face in the mirror illusion kicks in, where your features start to warp, stretch, and twist. People report seeing their own faces turn into monsters, relatives, or even complete strangers. However, there's no need to be scared. This isn't paranormal. This eerie effect is simply a side effect of the Troxler effect, where prolonged focus causes your brain to fade out unchanging stimuli. Your face is constant, so your visual system fills in the blanks with bizarre, sometimes unsettling shapes. It's like your reflection is slowly becoming someone or something else right in front of your own eyes. So the next time you catch yourself staring in the mirror, just know that for a little while, the reflection you trust could be lying to you. 21. 2 mirrors facing each other create infinite parallel universes. Sort of. Place 2 mirrors directly across from one another, and suddenly, you're looking down a tunnel that seems to stretch forever. Each reflection bounces in the next, endlessly repeating smaller and smaller, fading toward a vanishing point you can't reach. Physicists study this effect to understand the behavior of light, reflection, and perception. Some quantum theories even suggest that these mirror corridors might offer a way to visualize parallel dimensions, where layers of reality could reflect and overlap in ways our eyes can't fully capture. Crazy, right? Standing between two mirrors, you get more than a trick of optics. You get a glimpse of infinity, a corridor that hints at worlds beyond our own. 20. Your mirror image ages slowly than you do. Technically. I'm not done yet with the mind games, and this one is quite deceiving. Every time you look in a mirror, you're actually seeing the past. Light has traveled from your face to the mirror and back to your eyes, and even though it's ridiculously fast, that journey takes a tiny fraction of a second. The reflection hitting your retinas is already nanoseconds old. It's technically still you, yes, but it's a slightly younger version of you. The you that existed just a heartbeat ago. Mirrors don't just show your appearance. They're a snapshot in time, capturing a version of yourself that's already passed, no matter how small the fraction. Every glance is a fleeting encounter with a self that technically no longer exists. 19. There's a medical condition where mirrors become terrifying. Spectrophobia is the intense fear of mirrors and reflections. For some people, the anxiety comes from a feeling that their reflection is a separate entity, which is just silently watching or judging them, while others dread seeing something in the mirror that shouldn't be there. A shadow, a face that isn't theirs, or a fleeting movement that vanishes when they blink. For those with spectrophobia, they become portals of uncertainty, objects that blur the line between reality and imagination. Even the simplest glance can trigger panic, making the everyday act of looking at oneself a moment of profound unease. 18. Mirrors were once believed to trap souls. Across cultures and centuries, mirrors have always been treated as more than mere glass. When someone died, many traditions covered mirrors to prevent the soul from becoming trapped in its reflection. For them, the fear wasn't symbolic, it was literal. The mirror could hold a fragment of the departed, keeping it from moving on. Breaking a mirror also carried a similar weight. Superstitions claimed it would bring 7 years of bad luck because the shattered glass could damage a part of your soul. For generations, mirrors were treated with reverence and caution, as they hold deep spiritual and psychological significance. It's fascinating how a simple reflective surface became a bridge between the living and the dead, a keeper of fortune, fate, and the fragile threads of the soul. 17. NASA uses mirrors to measure the moon's distance. During the Apollo missions, astronauts left retroreflector mirrors on the surface of the moon. These weren't just souvenirs. They're precise scientific instruments. Scientists on Earth aim lasers at them and measure how long it takes for the light to bounce back. That tiny round trip of light lets researchers calculate the distance between the Earth and the moon with millimeter precision, tracking shifts caused by tides, tectonics, and the moon's gradual drift away from us. In a way, mirrors became cosmic measuring tools, linking us to the moon with beams of light and centuries of curiosity, ultimately bridging worlds. 16. One-way mirrors are actually just regular mirrors with different lighting. What we believe to be a one-way mirror is actually a hoax. The truth is, it's just partially reflective glass, and there's no magic involved. It only behaves like a one-way mirror when one side is brightly lit, and the other is kept in darkness. The bright side sees its reflection, while the dark side looks through, seemingly invisible. Turn the lighting even, and the illusion vanishes. People on both sides become fully visible, exposing what the glass was hiding. It's a subtle trick of light and perception, not magic. 15. You can make a mirror from almost any material. Technically, any smooth surface that reflects light can act as a mirror. Calm water, polished metal, glass, and even your smartphone screen can all show a reflection. The clarity of the image doesn't come from what the surface is made of, but how smooth it is. A perfectly still pond can produce a near-perfect mirror image, while a rippling stream blurs and distorts what it reflects. In other words, mirrors are everywhere, hiding in plain sight, turning ordinary surfaces into portals for light and reflection. 14. The Bloody Mary phenomenon has a scientific explanation. The Bloody Mary mirror game is quite famous, but it's also not paranormal. It's psychological. Staring into a dimly lit mirror while chanting her name taps into the Troxler effect I discussed earlier, where your brain starts to ignore unchanging stimuli. Your visual system literally fades out stable details. At the same time, your brain's pattern recognition circuits go into overdrive, searching for faces, shapes, and movements in the shadow. Result? You see a distorted, shifting, sometimes horrifying version of yourself. Essentially, a controlled hallucination created by sensory deprivation. It's a spooky trick, but completely natural. Your mind is just filling in the blanks and turning a simple reflection into a ghostly apparition. 13. Curved mirrors can make you disappear. Parabolic mirrors can actually manipulate light in surprising ways. By curving surfaces precisely, they can bend light around an object, making it appear as if the object has vanished. Science museums often use this principle to create the invisible man illusion. The mirrors redirect the light behind the hidden object straight to your eyes, and your brain, which is expecting continuity, fills in the background. But suddenly, the object seems to disappear entirely. It's a striking example of how mirrors can reshape perception and trick our brains into seeing emptiness where something physically exists. 12. Mirrors are essential to every laser in existence. Every laser, from a tiny pointer to massive scientific equipment, relies on mirrors. Inside the laser, light bounces back and forth between mirrors, amplifying photons until they form a coherent, powerful beam. Without this reflective magic, there'd be no barcode scanners at the grocery store, no fiber optic internet carrying data across continents, and no LASIK eye surgery correcting vision. Mirrors are basically the backbone of countless technologies we take for granted. In a way, mirrors aren't just tools for reflection. They're engines of modern innovation, quietly powering the devices and systems that shape our everyday lives. 11. There's a black mirror that absorbs 99.9% of light. Vanta black is known to be the blackest substance ever created, absorbing nearly all the light that hits it. Paint it on a surface, and it looks like a void, a patch of nothingness where shape and depth vanish completely. Stare at it, and your brain struggles to interpret what it's seeing. Shadows, contours, and edges disappear, leaving the surface looking flat, featureless, and almost unreal. It's as close as you can get to seeing pure absence, making it an actual visual black hole that swallows light and defies perception while challenging the limits of what our eyes and brains can perceive. 10. Mirrors play a role in quantum mechanics that nobody fully understands. In the strange world of quantum physics, mirrors stop being ordinary objects and start acting like portals to the impossible. In certain experiments, photons, which are known as the tiniest particles of light, can be reflected by a mirror and pass straight through it at the same time, existing in multiple states until someone measures them. These aren't glitches. They're fundamental properties of reality, showing that at the quantum level, the universe doesn't follow the rules we're used to. Mirrors, in this sense, become tools for probing the bizarre, mind-bending nature of existence, where observation itself determines what's real. Suddenly, the mirror in your room isn't just showing your face. It's hinting at a universe far stranger than our senses can fully grasp. 9. Your brain actually fills in parts of your reflection. Every time you glance in a mirror, your brain isn't recording a perfect snapshot of reality. Instead, it fills in the gaps using memory, expectation, and familiarity. It smooths out wrinkles, downplays blemishes, and even overlooks subtle changes over time. That's why gradual changes in your appearance often go unnoticed, and you simply see what you expect to see, not what's truly there. Your reflection becomes a kind of mental shortcut, a version of yourself that feels consistent, even as your hairline shifts, your skin ages, or your face subtly transforms. 8. Mirrored rooms can cause panic attacks and disorientation. Extended exposure to fully mirrored environments can do more than just dazzle. It can also disorient the mind. Artist Yayoi Kusuma's famous infinity rooms are filled floor to ceiling with mirrors to create an endless reflection that stretches perception into infinity. The effect is mesmerizing, but also intense. Inside, visitors reportedly experience vertigo, panic, and even depersonalization, feeling as if they lost the boundaries of their own body. Some installations enforce strict time limits to prevent overwhelming psychological stress. In these mirrored spaces, what starts as wonder can quickly turn into a creepy confrontation with infinity, showing just how fragile our sense of self becomes when familiar cues vanish. 7. Animals that recognize themselves in mirrors are considered self-aware. The mirror test is one of the most fascinating ways scientists explore consciousness. It checks whether an animal can recognize itself in a reflection rather than assuming it's another creature. So far, only humans, great apes, dolphins, elephants, and magpies have passed. Most animals, when faced with a mirror, behave as if they're encountering a stranger, and they start showing aggression, curiosity, or social behaviors. Passing the test suggests a sense of self-awareness, or the ability to understand that the reflection is you and not someone else. It's a rare glimpse into the minds capable of introspection, hinting at what it really means to possess a concept of self. 6. Telescope mirrors are ground to nanometer precision. The James Webb Space Telescope relies on mirrors so precisely engineered that they verge on the unbelievable. Each one is polished with such accuracy that if it were stretched to the size of the continental US, the largest imperfection would only be about 5 centimeters tall. This level of precision is near atomic perfection, allowing the telescope to capture faint light from galaxies even if they're billions of light years away. Mirrors aren't just everyday objects. In the hands of engineers and scientists, they become tools capable of unlocking even the deepest secrets of the universe that no one else has seen before. From reflecting your face to reflecting the first light of the cosmos, mirrors truly are marvelous. Mirrorvelous. Sounded better in my head. 5. Mirrors can theoretically create wormholes. We've already peeled back so many layers of what mirrors really are. By now, they probably don't just feel like ordinary objects for you anymore. But I'm not done yet. There's still another fascinating twist waiting on the other side of the glass. And here's something even more intriguing. Some physicists speculate that mirrors could do more than reflect light. They might one day manipulate space-time itself. How can this happen? Well, by carefully arranging mirrors, it's theorized that regions of negative energy could actually be created. And this energy is the very key ingredient for traversable wormholes. This remains purely theoretical for now, but the math suggests mirrors could play a role in engineering shortcuts through the fabric of the universe. It's wild to think that something as ordinary as a reflective surface might one day help humans explore realms once confined to science fiction. But who knows, right? 4. The Bloody Mary illusion works even when you know it's fake. I've already talked about how the Bloody Mary illusion works. You know, the psychology, the Troxler effect, and the way your brain fills in the dark. But here's another fascinating fact about it that takes things even deeper. Understanding the science behind it doesn't stop it from occurring. You can know all about the Troxler effect. You can understand how your brain's pattern recognition system fills in shadows and invents faces. You can intellectually grasp every single mechanism behind mirror hallucinations, and you can still experience them. That's because these processes operate below our conscious control. Your visual system fades details automatically, and your brain hunts for patterns automatically as well. Logic doesn't get a vote on this at all. So even when you fully understand that everything you're seeing is just an illusion, your mind will still continue to distort your reflection. Knowledge doesn't override instinct. That's just how it works. 3. Mirror neurons are why you feel other people's emotions. Speaking of your brain, let's zoom in a little closer. Deep inside it, there's a network of remarkable cells called mirror neurons, which are tiny biological mirrors that fire not only when you do something, but also when you watch someone else do it. It's the same neurological engine that works behind empathy, like how you wince when someone stubs their toe, smile when friends laugh, or feel tension during a tense movie scene. In a very real sense, you're mirroring other people inside your own brain, experiencing a shadow of their thoughts, emotions, and movements. Mirror neurons show that reflecting is wired deep into our biology, connecting us to others in ways that are both literal and profound. 2. Ancient philosophers believed mirrors could show the future. In ancient Greek and Roman cultures, mirrors were treated as tools of prophecy. The practice is called katoptromancy, and it involves using mirrors to divine the future. Practitioners believe that under the right conditions, like the right light, angle, or ritual, mirrors could reveal events yet to come, or the will of the gods. This mystical use shows that humans have long seen mirrors as more than reflective surfaces. For thousands of years, they've been portals of possibility, objects that blur the line between the everyday and the supernatural, linking the material world to fate, intuition, and the unknown. Kind of like the Mirror of Galadriel, in case you've ever seen Lord of the Rings, or read it. 1. You don't actually know what you look like. Given all the mirror reversals, camera distortion, tricky lighting, and your brain's habit of filling in what it expects to see, you'll come to realize that you've never actually seen yourself as you truly are. Every reflection, every photo is filtered through perception, expectation, and context. There's no single objective you to behold. Your appearance is constantly shifting. Construction your mind stitches together from fragments and guesses. One moment you look familiar, the next moment, off. And that's not vanity, it's neuroscience. In a way, your face is less a fixed reality and more like a straight up living illusion that's endlessly being reconstructed by your brain every time you try to see it. Mirrors and cameras don't betray you, they just reveal how malleable your perception really is. Well, good luck ever looking in a mirror the same way again. If your brain is now thoroughly broken, you're welcome. Hit subscribe and we'll be back soon to shatter even more things you thought you understood. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe with the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.